What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. We got some news on the manager front in baseball. The Miami Marlins, who of course parted ways with Don Mattingly, who was there the last 7 seasons, they have hired Skip Schumaker as their next manager. Skip Schumaker played MLB for 11 seasons, mainly with the Cardinals, spent a little time with the Padres as well. Was a utility player, won 2 World Series as a member of the Cardinals, so he's got 2 rings to show for it. One in 2006 with St. Louis, and the other in 2011 with St. Louis. He was the third base coach for the San Diego Padres for 4 seasons. In this past year, he was the bench coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's been a hot candidate for the last few years for managerial positions. Finally got his chance with the Marlins. Interesting hire. We'll have to wait and see how this one plays out. On one hand, he's definitely a guy that definitely wants to manage. I think we're making a good manager. He's a guy who he's been the guy, ex-player. He's been the guy who's been one of the leaders on the team. He's also been one of the guys who's really just on the end of the bench on the team. He's been an assistant in this league for a few years, been an assistant coach for 5 seasons, 4 years as the third best coach for San Diego, and then he was for a year with the Cardinals as their bench coach. He worked with a pretty good young manager in Ali Marmol. It's a guy that did a pretty good job this year, though they lost early in the playoffs. They lost to the Phillies, who are just so hot right now. I mean, they went all the way to the World Series. So I think he's ready to be a manager. Marlins got a young team, and he's obviously probably one of the youngest managers in the game. So I think on paper, it's a pretty good hire. But we'll have to wait and see. These guys work cut out for them. The Marlins have had a really tough time these last few years. The only time they've been over 500, I think really the last 7, 8, 10 years, outside of the shortened 2020 season, which was really was a fluke for the Marlins. Was I think 2011 or 2012 or 2013 or something like that. So he's definitely got his work cut out for him. But Marlins have hired Skip Schumaker as their new manager. There's a couple of openings. The Angels decided to keep Phil Nevin full-time. He got a 1-year extension. Phillies, of course, decided to keep Rob Thompson full-time. He got a 2-year extension. Of course, he took them to the World Series. Of course, he's still playing. And Texas Rangers, who fired Chris Woodward over the summer. They brought Bruce Bochy out of retirement. Guy who won 3 World Series with the San Francisco Giants. They brought him out of retirement. Texas brought in Bruce Bochy. And now Miami, who parts ways with Don Mattingly after 7 seasons, they bring in Skip Schumaker, an ex-player and the current bench coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. Now former bench coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. We'll see what else. I know Kansas City is still looking for a manager after they fired Mike Matheny. Kansas City, going to probably be a lot of changes as they got rid of their team president and their manager. I believe he would probably gone anyway. I think that they fired a couple of assistant coaches as well. So, they make a change in the front office. Now I believe, are still looking for a new manager as well. So we'll see who they decide to bring in. As for hockey, games from last night, Avalanche over the Rangers 3-2 in a shootout. Tough loss for my Rangers. Igor Shesterkin made a bad play a little bit later in that game. Getting tied at 1-1. When the Rangers won the power play, he came out of his net to play the puck and he mishandled it, which gave a really bad goal. He's great with his stick. He's probably the best goalie in the league with his stick, but he's gotta be careful. He definitely got a little too cocky. You're a goaltender. Tend the goal. It's great that you can use your stick better than most goalies, but you gotta be a little bit. You gotta be disciplined with it as well. Bruins over the Stars. 3-1. Bruins stay red hot. Coyotes over the Blue Jackets 6-3. Wild over the Canadiens 3-1. So Wild getting the win column. They're also a bit of a sluggish start. Devils over the Red Wings 6-2. Blackhawks over the Panthers 4-2. Flames over the Penguins 4-1. Kraken over the Sabres 5-1. Golden Knights over the Sharks 4-2. And Kings over the Lightning 4-2. Lightning continue to struggle. I believe they're 3-4 on the year. They're off to a slow start. Got only 3 games tonight. Rangers Islanders at 7:30. Of course, that big rivalry game. But that's I believe it's at UBC, whatever the Islanders Stadium is called. At 8 o'clock, you got Oilers Blues, and at 10 o'clock, Lightning and Ducks. As for basketball, Suns over the Warriors, 134-105. Klay Thompson was thrown out of the game in this one. Devin Booker dropped 34 points. You had the Wizards over the Pistons, 120-99. Pelicans over the Mavericks, 113-111. Pelicans had a lot of injuries. They were down their top 2 players, Zion and Brandon Ingram. Zion's got a hip injury, and Brandon Ingram has a concussion. They both didn't play, but Pelicans still pull it out in that one, despite Luka dropping 37 points. Thunder over the Clippers in a big upset, 108-94. And that's all the games that we had in basketball last night. For the standings, very, very early on, obviously. Wizards are 3-1. No teams play on but more than 4 games. Sixers also a bit of a slow start. They're just 1-3. Miami is only 1-3. They haven't looked great. And then in the Western Conference, obviously the Lakers look like crap at 0-3. Kings are 0-3. They're not that good though. You got the Pelicans are 3-1. They look pretty good. Zion, when he's been healthy, has looked good. They got a win over Luka and the Mavericks last night. Down their top 2 players. Portland Trailblazers 4-0. They look very good. They finally Dame got a little bit of more help this offseason. Bringing in Jeremy Grant, got him in a trade with Detroit. They made some moves during the draft, so hopefully they can finally put together some sort of decent year and finally have some sort of playoff run with Dame Lillard. They haven't even gone to the final with Dame Lillard. They've only been to the conference finals like once or twice. It's crazy. Now it's time for my game picks. Let's start with college football. On Thursday Night Football for college football, 7:30 on ESPN, number 24 NC State against Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is garbage. I'm taking NC State. And at 10 o'clock on FS1, 14-seeded Utah against Washington State. I'm taking Utah on that one. Then for Saturday slate, number 2 Ohio State against number 13 Penn State. Big game. Obviously a Big Ten matchup. I'm taking Ohio State. They're just so good this year. That offense is unstoppable. Number 7 TCU right now is the best team in the Big 12. They play by West Virginia. West Virginia is not very good. TCU should win that game, no problem. Notre Dame faces off against number 16 Syracuse. Notre Dame has an overall better program, but also Syracuse is having a much better year. They're 6-1. Notre Dame's 4-3. I'm going to take the Syracuse Orange. I just don't trust Notre Dame with my life. I'm not going to lie. They have a bunch of injuries as well. Georgia, the top team in the country. At 3:30, they play Florida. The Florida Gators are not the Florida Gators of old. I'm definitely taking Georgia. Number 8, Oregon against California. Oregon right now is the top team in the Pac-12. They've won 6 in a row. They play California. I'll take Oregon. This is a good game. Number 9, Oklahoma State right now, second in the Big 12. I guess number 22, Kansas State. I'll take OK State in that one. Number 10, Wake Forest. We're now second in the ACC. Only loss was a double OT loss to Clemson against Louisville. I will take Wake Forest. Number 17, Illinois against Nebraska. Nebraska is garbage. They don't even have a coach. I'm taking Illinois. Number 20, Cincinnati against UCF. I'm taking Cincinnati. Missouri plays number 22, 25 rather, South Carolina. I'll take South Carolina. Spencer Rattler playing pretty well. Numbers don't pop up the page, but playing a little better than he did last year, which is good. Number 19, Kentucky against number 3, Tennessee. Big SEC matchup. Kentucky kind of cooled off into a hot start. Tennessee, that offense with Hendon Hooker looks unstoppable right now. I'm taking Tennessee. Number 10, USC was dropped to second in the Pac-12. They play Arizona. I'm taking USC in that game. Arizona's not very good. Michigan State against number 4 Michigan. Big rivalry game, but Michigan State is not good. They are terrible. Michigan should win no problem. Wow, the Michigan's favored by 22.5 against their interstate rival. That's crazy. Number 15, Ole Miss against Texas A&M. Texas A&M is a complete flop this year. I can't believe they're only 3-4. They paid Appalachian State $1.5 million to beat them in their own building. Yeah, top recruiting plus my backside. Ole Miss rolls on that one. Pitt against number 21 North Carolina. I'll take North Carolina. And Stanford against number 12 UCLA. I'm taking UCLA. That's what we got for college football. My game picks for the NFL. Thursday Night Football tomorrow night. Ravens, Bucks. So actually, should be a somewhat decent Thursday night game. One's tough. The Ravens should be 7-0. Meanwhile, they're 4-3. They're blowing lead left and right. Almost blew that game against Cleveland. Cleveland didn't get a full start penalty on that field goal. That game went to overtime at least. But Tampa, they've looked really bad. Tom Brady looks washed. Tampa's got a bunch of injuries on the O-line. They got a couple injuries in their secondary. Got a couple of receivers out. So I'm going to take the Ravens. I think the Bucs are just banged up, and Tom Brady is just washed. We got a London game. Broncos-Jaguars at 9:30 in the morning. Eastern Time Sunday. That game is in London. Both the teams do not look good. Jacksonville got to a pretty good start. Has been struggling. Broncos look like garbage. They're 2-5. I don't know if Russell Wilson's playing. You know what? I'm going to take Jacksonville. They've played in London in the past. You know, they stole one against the Dolphins in London last year. I'll take Jacksonville. I don't know if it's going to be Russell Wilson or Brett Rippon. I heard a rumor that Nathaniel Hackett could be coaching for his job. He's looked like straight trash here, maybe the worst coach in the league. This team should have been a playoff team. Right now they're 2-5, and their season looks like it's over already, and it's not even halfway through the year. If he loses that game, he might lose his job. I think that might happen. I'm actually going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars in that one. Dolphins against the Lions. I'm taking Miami. Detroit is garbage. 1-5. Probably the worst defense in the league. Their offense is falling off now. You know, Miami's got Tua back. I'm taking Miami. Carolina Panthers against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm taking Atlanta. Panthers got a big upset over the Bucs last week, but the Falcons have played a lot better than expected. Marcus Mariota has played better than expected. You know, they're not very good defensively, but Carolina's still like a third-string quarterback. They really got no weapons outside DJ Moore there. I'm taking Atlanta. Cardinals against the Vikings. I'm taking Minnesota. The next Call of Duty game comes out on Friday. So Kyler is definitely not going to be prepared for that game. So I'm taking Minnesota, who looks like the team to beat in the NFC North this year. Kirk Cousins in 1 o'clock games is very good. They got a lot of pieces on that offense. Justin Jefferson and company. Their defense looks pretty good. I love what Kevin McConnell's doing. I'm taking the Vikings. Bears, Cowboys. I'm taking Dallas. Bears, you know, had a bit of a breakout game against New England, but New England, they played two different quarterbacks. You know, that was a bit of a mess for New England. Dallas might have the best defense in the league. The second best scoring defense in the league besides Buffalo. Right now, the Bears are not going to be able to get any offense going on against that Dallas defense. Dallas offense will score more than enough. I'll take the Cowboys. Raiders against the Saints. Both teams are struggling. Saints are struggling. They got a lot of injury. We don't know, is it Andy Dalton? Is it Jameis Winston this week? They got a couple of receivers out. They got some guys out on defense. They got so many injuries. You know, I'm going to take the Raiders. Saints are just too banged up right now. That's looking like a lost year. Steelers and Eagles, I'm taking Philly. The Steelers look like garbage right now. Kenny Pickett's got like 6 or 7 interceptions in 3 games. He does not look good. Najee Harris is falling off. Their defense is banged up. Eagles are firing on all cylinders, 6-0 right now. Jalen Hurts has looked a lot better. You know, they're on the ball. Got A.J. Brown. That defense is fantastic. And they're just so much better. I'm taking the Eagles. Patriots, Jets at 1 o'clock. By the way, we have a call-in. Smooth. He's back in the flesh. He's calling in to Talkin Sports with Jake. We're doing some NFL game picks. We'll see what Smooth has to say. But Patriots, Jets, I'm taking my Jets. Before I go more into that, Smooth, how we doing?
What's up, man? I called into the 1-800 Talk with Jake hotline. I hope you advertise that immensely since
I'm pretty good. How about you, my friend?
Good. I wanted to chime in on your little NFL picks for the upcoming week
Okay.
and some games of no. What's up, Cap? The cold-blooded assassin. I love that dude. Long lost brother from another mother. I love. You know what's funny is, first of all, just let's preface it with this. I cannot stand watching. I can't stand watching like sports talk in the morning on TV. It's the worst. Like
Yeah.
you watch Shannon Sharp and
Oh, God.
Skip Bayless. You know what it's about? It's Cowboys, LeBron James, repeat. Cowboys, LeBron James,
Pretty much.
repeat. It's like, God dang, really? I mean, it's terrible. And then you watch that crap on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith's the most overrated.
Oh, he's
dude
so
on the
arrogant. I
planet,
can't
but
stand him.
But he makes millions of dollars, so everyone's like, yeah, he's really good. No, he's not. He's awful. He gets paid millions of dollars to say
Yeah.
stupid stuff.
Pretty much.
So,
Him and Skip Bayless for the same thing.
Oh yeah. So a couple games that you hit on. I really want to. Now the Thursday game really interests me. First of all, the Ravens and Buccaneers. My Buccaneers look like shit. I mean, let's just.
Yeah, they're not looking too hot.
You know, they scored 3 points against a team that has pretty much mailed it in for the year.
Yeah.
Has pretty much said any player you want on our team, we'll just give to you.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. That's what they did for McCaffrey and Anderson and So I'm really intrigued how Tom Brady is going to bounce back. The Bucs bounce back from this game. First of all, since there's such a quick turnaround, and Baltimore playing a pretty much a really physical game against the Browns last Sunday. I don't know what your pick was. I missed on it.
I did pick the Ravens.
Did you pick the Ravens? Okay. The only reason I'm picking Tampa Bay is because it's at home. Now, if it was in Baltimore,
that's fair.
I would take the Ravens. But I just think a little home cooking for Tom and the Bucs. You know, he got the pirate ship. Hopefully, it's rocking a little bit. And the funny thing is, in that division, the NFC West. Technically, they're only one game out.
South, yeah. The South is so bad. They're like tied for first, I think.
Right. Yeah. They're one game behind. I think Seattle's 4-3.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the one game out.
Falcons are 3. You talk about a crazy story. The Seahawks. And people.
Wow, that's crazy.
I don't either.
Seahawks.
I don't either. But he's done the best coaching job I think of his entire career. Right.
He has. Yeah. Yeah. He got a lot of criticism last year, for myself included. He's done a great job this year.
He's got nothing on that team. He's got a quarterback that's not an NFL starter.
He's not.
29 other teams. He's on his second string running back in Kenneth Walker III. You don't know what you have in offensive line, and you don't know what you have on defense, but they just make it work. And that's what's so different about some teams in the NFL this year is they're making it work with the people they have. It may not be flashy picks, it may not be flashy guys, but that's what makes them. I'm not saying Seattle's going to win the NFC West. Please don't put that on me yet. But at the same token, I mean, look at Atlanta's 3-4. No one thought they were going to be 3-4.
Yeah.
Starting the year, nobody. So I'm going to take Tampa at home just because they're at home. Now, if they're on the road, I would say Baltimore for sure. But it's a little.
Smooth, I think we lost you, Smooth. There we go. That's all right.
Phone call real quick. So I'm gonna take the Bucs only because they're at home. Can you hear me still, right?
Yep.
Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yep, you're good. Yeah, we're talking to Smooth, talking some football. That's a fair pick. I think that'll be a close game. Both teams are honestly underperforming by a lot. The Ravens should be. I said it. They should be 7-0. They've blown 3 games, and they've blown all three of the games they lost. They almost blew last week. And the Bucs, obviously, they look a little lost right now. Well, Smooth. Oh,
sorry,
there he is. That's all right.
I think the phone rang for a hot minute, so I just had to read it. But anyways, I like like I said, Tampa in that game just because they're at home. Now you had mentioned how the Ravens should be technically 7-0, 6-1, or whatever. They got if they get a lead on a team late, they gotta find a way.
Yeah.
To close out games, and right now they're not doing it. And people are like, "Well, you should give Lamar Jackson all this money to be
I do not agree with that at all.
Absolutely not. He has done nothing other than be a really good regular season quarterback and pad his numbers. And in the playoffs, and when the games matter the most, the guy's not there. Period. End of discussions. Seriously. And if I'm the Ravens, I'm like, dude, you got to show me a little more than that. Because if you don't, then I'm not giving you the money. So you had mentioned the Cowboys, and I think people have fallen asleep on the Cowboys because Dak Prescott got hurt. He's back. But Dak's not 100%, but they're finding ways to win games. Now, that Lions game last Sunday was awful. It was awful.
Oof.
Like, that Cowboys offense was putrid. I mean, the Lions couldn't fumble over their 2 feet without getting maybe 3 yards. Seriously, it was an awful game. So, if anybody's going to ride the Cowboy bandwagon, your quarterback has to be better.
He does.
And if he's not going to be better, you're going to have to find a way to get Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard the ball a lot.
Yeah.
And then, CeeDee Lamb's good, Gallup's okay, but their defenses are calling card. Obviously, you mentioned that. So I love the Cowboys in that game. I think a team that a lot of people are sleeping on, and it's like, why? 2 teams really. The Vikings are 5-1.
Yeah.
Right? Why are they 5-1? Is it because of their schedule, or are they actually starting to figure out how to win games? And it's a combination of both, really, because they're finding ways to win games. Their schedule has been very, very.
That division's not good besides them.
Yeah, and their schedule is very, very weak at best right now. But I'm sure they're going to play some teams in the middle towards the late part of the season, and that's going to be your true test. Is Dalvin Cook the real deal? Is Kirk Cousins going to be somebody other than Kirk Cousins, where he folds up like a chair?
Literally.
You know what I'm saying? So I really think right now you can't really say the Vikings are a team in the NFC that's going to be there at the end. I don't think so. I still think somehow, some way, Green Bay's going to sneak in there. And people are like, you're nuts. Have you seen them play? Yeah, I have. But Rodgers is going to figure it out. He's Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he's an MVP for a reason. He's a really good quarterback for a reason. Yes, they gave away their best wide receiver for virtually peanuts. But at the end of the day, he still finds a way to make it work. And the division's not very good, like you said. So Green Bay's going to pick some wins up against Chicago and Detroit. They may actually win the other game they're supposed to play against Minnesota.
Yeah.
But Frankie J's right. Rodgers is done. This is a prize last year. Maybe one more year. But he's still good. Is he still a top 15 quarterback in the league? Yeah. Yeah, he is. But the thing is, here's the downer. Ready? Debbie Downer. They got to play at Buffalo on Sunday night. Whoops.
Yeah, that's tough.
Whoops. So obviously Buffalo's winning that game. Have you seen the spread on that game? Buffalo's favored by 11.5.
That's crazy. That's nuts.
That's insane. I'm thinking, okay, 7 might make sense, but 11.5.
Damn. Wow.
So you're telling me
that's
the
tough.
Packers' offense is not there complete. Period. Oh yeah, the Bills will light them up, but I think 11.5 is way too high.
I would say about 6 or 7 for the line.
If you could take Buffalo, giving Green Bay 7, awesome. 11.5 just seems way too many points. I'm looking at it going, And another interesting game of note, 11.5 is really too high. It's high. But another interesting game of note, this really blows because Carson Wentz had an injury to his hand. Commanders Colts. First of all, what do you have in Indianapolis? You don't have Matt Ryan, obviously separated shoulder, but
Wash as well.
Frank Wright has announced that Sam Ellinger is the starter for the rest of the year.
Yep.
Over a Super Bowl quarterback in Nick Foles.
Well,
that's just
that's a good point. Foles was Super Bowl MVP. I'm on. Right. You wonder should, and also Frank Reich was on that staff. Do you think? Foles knows his offense. Yeah.
And he's basically saying, "This is Ellinger's our guy. He's better than you, Nick Foles. You know you won a Super Bowl."
You were Super Bowl MVP, but this guy was never played before. He's better than you. Yeah. Oof.
I can't believe it. But now, an interesting. I don't know how far have you gotten on your picks so far, man.
I'm just about to finish up the 1:00 games.
Okay, so when you get to the 4:00 games, let me know because I have a game of interest. I think you'll be like, interesting. Go ahead, man.
All right, so let's do Patriots Jets. I am taking my Jets. I'm going to be a bit of a homer. Patriots don't know who their quarterback's going to be. You know, their defense has been a little inconsistent. You know, the play calling there, it's just not good. Matt Patricia and Joe Judge are not good play callers. They've proved it here. They proved it when they were head coaches in Detroit and with the New York Giants, respectively. Patriots are a bit of a mess right now. I am taking the Jets. I think they keep rolling. They'll get Elijah Moore back this week. Hopefully James Robinson plays this week. Although their O-line's banged up, Patriots pass rush doesn't really scare me. I'm taking the Jets. 4:05. We got Titans and Texans. I'm taking the Titans. They're playing some good football after a slow start. And the Texans might be the worst team in football. I'm taking Tennessee. 4:25. Giants Seahawks. Giants. I had a feeling, Smooth. Go ahead.
This is funny because I look at this game and the Giants are 6-1, right?
Yep.
Are the Giants really a 6-1 team? Is the question.
Yeah.
To me personally, no. But this game will prove to you and to prove to all the people out there if they're for real this year. They got to go on the road, play a game late. Technically, that game is, it's a 1 o'clock game out west. East Coast teams always struggle out west. Always. They never do well out there. That's been a proven fact in the NFL since I was a kid. And the Seahawks are favored by 3 in this game. At home, and they're 4-3. So this is going to be either one of those ugly games that's going to be like 16-13, or it's going to be an offensive, showdown where both teams go up and down the field. And I honestly think it's gonna. This is funny. People are like, you got to be kidding, man. What about the weather? Seattle, it rains.
Yeah.
If
it's always cloudy there.
In the rain, right? You can't throw the ball in the rain. You have to run. Are you trusting the Giants rush offense over the Seattle?
I mean, Saquon Barkley is popping off. The Seahawks offense, Kenneth Walker's playing well also. Giants got a great defense, so you kind of have to weigh all those things, I guess.
I like the Giants in this game. I really do.
I think I do as well.
Yeah, and I think it's because they're just an overall better team, offensively and defense. Not taking any away from Seattle. Seattle's a good team. I mean, not saying they're world beaters, but they just find ways to win. I think the Giants find a way to win this game. It's going to be close, but give me the Giants.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good matchup for the Giants. Seahawks offense has looked very good. But Dominic Martinell's done a really good job with that defense. The Giants, I think, have the 6th best scoring defense in football. And the Giants' offense hasn't looked great, but the Seahawks can't stop a nosebleed. Saquon Barkley, I think, has a big game. I think the Giants go with 7-1. We got Commanders-Colts at 4:25. I'm actually gonna take the Commanders. Colts are starting Sam Ehlinger. Why, I have no clue. I know Matt Ryan's hurt, but I think Foles should be the starter, like we just discussed, Smooth. So I'm going to take the Commanders. Also, Taylor Heineke played pretty well last week. I think he should keep a job even when Wentz comes back in probably about a month or so. We got 49ers and Rams, 4:25. Big game in the NFC West. I'm going to take the Niners in that one. Christian McCaffrey should hopefully have no pitch counts now. I mean, obviously these two teams know each other very well. They always go back and forth. Rams, they look off this year. Stafford has not looked good. And they just look off this year. I'm taking the Niners, who really should come out of the NFC on paper. Will they? Remains to be seen. But on paper, they probably should. Then on Sunday night, you got Packers and you got the Bills. Bills should win that game. The Bills they just are not going to lose. I don't see how they lose that game. There's overall better. Packers are a mess. Bills are probably the league's best team. So I'm going to take the Buffalo Bills. And then Monday Night Football, Bengals, Browns. I'll take Cincy. Cleveland's a mess. Brissett's not a starting quarterback. Got trade rumors going around about Kareem Hunt. The Browns can't stop the run for their life. The Bengals haven't looked perfect. Far from it. The O-line is still horrible. But they still got Joe Burrow. They still got Jamar Chase. The defenses look good. I'll take the Bengals on Monday night.
I think the 49ers-Rams game is huge.
Yeah.
Not only because the 49ers did beat the Rams earlier in the year, 24-9.
Yes.
But now the narrative's different because now you got McCaffrey in there and a guy who can chew up clock, get you yards, stuff like that late in games. This game is important for both teams in the NFC West. If somehow, some way, the Niners win this game, they're 4-4, right? And they're kind of in the mix still. But if the Rams lose this game, they go to 3-4. Ew, man, that's tough.
Yeah.
You've lost 2 division games against the same opponent. And it's, to me, winning the division is your first. That's your first goal. Should be your first goal as a team to win your division because that gets you in the playoffs, obviously. But you got to win the division games to get into the playoffs. And I think if you're behind the 8 ball, losing to both of your rivals, like both games to the Niners, it's a hard hill to climb, really, really quick, fast. And I think the other thing, too, you mentioned Bengals-Browns. The Bengals win this game, but it's going to be really sloppy because I think, like you said, the Browns aren't very good. And on top of it, with the Bengals, Joe Burrow's turning around. I mean, he's starting to get a little bit better. And one other thing real quick, man, people were ready to turn on the Titans after they started 0-2.
Yeah.
I was not one of them. If you go through the color analogies of time, or the archives, or whatever they have on here, I said, hold your breath, hold on a minute, give it some time, because remember, this team is in a really bad division. They still have to play their divisional opponents. They got to still play Jacksonville and Houston and Indianapolis, and they'll be right back on the horse. And now they're 4-2, and they've won 4 in a row. Yep. Not saying they're one of the better teams in the AFC, because they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's Buffalo, Kansas City, everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, if Tennessee can turn it around and just put some more distance, in front of them in that division, I think, first of all, again, they'll host a home playoff game too. That people got to remember, if you're a division winner, you're pretty much hosting one playoff game already.
Yeah.
So I think you really got to. Tennessee's looking better and better every week. Their defense is playing better. Their running game's getting better. Derrick Henry's getting a little healthier. Tannehill's a manageable quarterback. He's just manageable. He's not good. He just manages the game.
Yeah, he's he's definitely getting older. He's not the same quarterback he once was, but if you give him some pieces, you give him Derrick Henry and some of the other things he's got there, he can get you to the playoffs.
Give me Malik Willis, man. Come on, dude.
I mean, I do like him. We'll see if he gets in the game at all as the season goes on. But my guess is he will take over next season.
Oh, for sure. That Tannehill's done after this year, for sure.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, man. Since you're the man, and I'm just the dude. So now, if you can imagine being in Detroit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being in a really bad city, right? That your football team is garbage, right? Already off the rip. You're 1-5, staring at 1-6 against the Dolphins. That's a home game. Miami should win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm losing to the Lions. So have you ever experienced a time when your team has been really, really bad? Like you knew, 4 games in the season, 5 games in the season, you knew they were awful. Like, and I live in Detroit. You know this full well. I can't stand the Lions. I think they're a garbage organization. They're terrible. They don't know what they're doing. They bring out guys, and then when they have something right, Jim Caldwell, they fire him for no apparent.
So dumb.
And then they bring on, hey, let's bring on this guy, Matt Patricia. He looks
like
God from McDonald's and shit. But it's seriously. But the thing is this, man. I mean, as a sports fan in general, like your football team, you get jacked up for the regular season. You're so excited. It's September. You're like, hey, my team. Then they do the whole Hard Knocks thing.
Yep.
We're playing kneecaps. We're walk me through what it's like, because I don't really acknowledge the Lions as a pro football team here in Detroit. But tell me, if you've ever experienced something like your team, like you're so excited in the beginning of the season, you're like, yay, I'm so happy. Then 4 games, 5 games in the season, you're done. Like, you're already done. So what do you do?
So, in 2020, the last year of the second year just had Adam Gase. The last year Adam Gase was there. Obviously, the first year he was abominably bad. Still can't believe that he didn't get fired after about 7 or 8 games a year. That year, probably, I would say, I was excited. I thought, all right, the O-line should be better. Maybe Gase's play calling can improve with a better O-line. You know, Sam Darnold, I'm hoping is the guy. They got some other good pieces. You get some guys. You get some guys healthy. I would say about midway through week 1, I thought this team is going 0-16. That's how bad that team was. After
You're talking about the Jets in 2020?
Yeah, the last year they had Adam Gase. When after I finished week 1, probably about maybe even midway through, I thought this team is horrendous. This team is worse than the team last year that crawled to 7-9. They might go 0-16.
Interesting. Yeah, and it's sad because here in Detroit, dude. First of all, I try not to listen to Detroit sports radio, but my buddies are all like, "Yeah, did you listen to so and so today?" No, I didn't. But I try. I do my best. I be supportive. You know, all this hoorah stuff, right? So, guess what they're talking about, man? What's our pick in the draft next year?
Wow.
6 games in the season, dude. 6 games. You're already talking about, well, maybe they need a quarterback. Yeah, but who do you take? Maybe we need a more offensive line. Like, we need offensive line, and maybe we need a defensive line that actually can produce sacks. I mean, it's mind blowing, dude. It's so fun, and this is why, like, I love where I live, dude. I wouldn't change it for the world. Mm-hmm. But to be a sports fan in this city really blows.
That's tough.
It blows. It's brutal. So I didn't want to talk. I just wanted to ask your humble opinion, sir, about that.
Yeah, that year, I didn't think they'd make the playoffs. I wasn't sure if they were going to get in, but I was all right. Hopefully, we can do something decent. And then, you know, maybe we go 8-8, you know, and then they realize, all right, Amge isn't the guy to get him out of there, and they get somebody else in there, and then we can hopefully start to turn this thing around in 2021. But after the first game, I was like, damn. Not only is Gase maybe the worst coach ever, we're going 0-16, and we're not even close to competing. And obviously, it took them 2 more years to even be relevant because they sucked last year again, and now this year they're looking a little bit better. But yeah, that year, after week 1, I was like, wow, this team is bad. So Smooths, anything else? Is there anything else you got? I don't got much else for you, but you can touch on anything that you feel right now. If not, then I think I'm going to wrap up. Thank you all for tuning in to Talkin Sports with Jake today. Smooth said he's going to call right back. I'm just going to write him in the chat. I am still on CoverCast just so I can do call-ins. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all for joining me. Until next time, so long and have a great day.